hi. I'm here today with a spoiler-free single book review. I haven't done one of these in a very long time, but the book that I'm reviewing is very special, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it. And that book is Welcome to Night Vale by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranmer. I would like to preface this video by saying that I am aware there is a podcast, and that the podcast came out first. This book is based on the podcast. No, I have not listened to the podcast, but I do plan on it. I am not very good at jumping back and forth between different books, TV shows, podcasts. I need to read something, watch something, listen to something until I'm done it or caught up on it. I'm currently listening to Office Ladies, and when I'm caught up on that, I will check out Welcome to Night Vale. So this book is an interesting one. I fell in love with this book the way you might fall in love with a person. Slowly, and then all at once. No, but for real, that's how it happened. It's kind of like, like when you meet somebody new. Like maybe you have a new coworker or something, I don't know. And someone asks you what you think of them, and you're like, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really gotten a chance to get to know them. I mean, I guess they seem fine. I didn't really get their jokes, but I mean, sure, they're fine. But then, you work together more, or you have a chance to talk to them more, and you start to kind of get their jokes. You see where they're coming from. You understand their humor a little bit more. Maybe you start to even predict their jokes a little bit, or you hear them say something, you're like, that is something that person would say. And then you find that's the person you want to tell things to. When something funny happens or something exciting happens, you're like, I have to tell that person. They'll enjoy this. And then you just find yourself thinking about them more. You're like, I wonder how they're doing. I hope they're doing okay. Maybe I should message them and make sure they're doing okay. Maybe we should go out on a date. Maybe I actually like this person. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I think I'm in love. That can happen. And that's what happened with this book. Welcome to Night Vale is a very, very strange book. I'll start off by saying what it's about, and then I'll get into more of the strangeness of it, I guess. So this is about basically two different people who live in a town called Night Vale where weird things happen. But all the weird things that happen are normal to the people who live there. And one person owns a pawn shop, and some random weird man comes into the pawn shop, giving her a piece of paper with the city name on it. And everything about the man is really hard for her to kind of remember. Basically, as soon as he leaves, she doesn't remember what he looks like. As soon as he says his name, she doesn't remember what his name is. It's really weird. So she is trying to get to the bottom of who this man is, where he came from, and what this piece of paper means. And then there's also another person who has a son who is a shapeshifter. And these two characters end up helping each other figure out the mystery that is going on in their lives. I wasn't sure about this book when I first started it. Just like if someone asks you how you like the person you just met, you're like, I don't know, I don't really know them. It's like, I had that feeling with this. I didn't really understand the weirdness. And some of the weirdness was funny, but it was so weird. It was so weird. I was like, how? I can't, what? But I was also intrigued about this random man that nobody can remember and why he's giving this piece of paper to people that they can't seem to let go of for some reason. They try to let go of it, it doesn't work. They throw it on the ground and all of a sudden it's in their hand again. I was like, what's going on with that? I was also very interested in Diane's story, who's the one with the shapeshifter son. I really enjoyed the narrative surrounding her and her son a lot. So even with the weirdness, I really liked them and I was invested in their characters. I wanted to see where their story went. So I kept reading. And it just kept getting weirder, but also better, more interesting, and the weird stuff, I was really able to appreciate the funniness of it instead of just being like, why is this so weird? I did a lot of tabbing. So all the yellow tabs are the ones that I thought were especially funny. And then I also have a purple tab, 2 blue tabs, and an orange tab, which were not funny, but I liked them for different reasons, and I don't remember what the colors meant, but they're different things. I thought a lot of it was really funny. The whole thing was funny. I tried to just tab the parts that I thought were extra funny. so that I wasn't tabbing every single page. Basically, the conclusion that I came to, and it's very possible this is not how they came up with the weirdness of this story, but this is how I view the weirdness of this story. I feel like the way things are weird in this book, it's the exact same way things are weird in dreams. And I feel like all of the weirdness is from their dreams. I feel like they had a weird dream and they were like, imagine if this was in a story. And then they put all the weirdness together in one coherent story that has a story. My friend and I in elementary school actually wanted to make a movie that was based on our weird dreams, and we wanted to put it together to make an actual, like, have a story to it, but have a lot of it not really make any sense because it was just like the weirdness of our dreams, but have it make sense to the people in the movie because that's just how things were in this world. We were in grade 8, so we didn't actually get around to making it. We wrote a bit of a script for it though, but that's exactly what this reminds me of. That's what this is. Maybe. I haven't talked to the authors or heard them do any interviews, so maybe they just have a knack for coming up with really, really, really weird things. But I'm gonna show you some examples that don't spoil anything. Okay, ready? Imagine teaching a 15-year-old how to drive a car with manual transmission. First, you have to press down the clutch. Then you have to whisper a secret into one of the cup holders. In Diane's case, this was easy, as she was not a very social or public person, and most any mundane thing in her life could be a secret. In Josh's case, this was hard because for teenagers, most every mundane thing in their lives is a secret that they do not like sharing in front of their parents. Then, after the clutch and the secret, the driver has to grab the stick shift, which is a splintered wood stake wedged into the dashboard, and shake it until something happens. Anything, really. And then simultaneously type a series of code numbers into a keyboard on the steering wheel. All this while sunglasses-wearing agents from a vague yet menacing government agency sit in a heavily tinted black sedan across the street taking pictures, and occasionally waving. This is a lot of pressure on a first-time driver. That is something that I would dream about. Like, that's the type of dream that I would have. I would call up my friend and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I had this dream that I had to get a new car, and the only cars that they had left were manual, and I was so nervous because I hadn't driven a manual transmission car in so long, and when I got in, it wasn't just a regular manual car. You had to type a bunch of codes into the steering wheel, and then the stick shift wasn't where it normally is. It was on the dashboard, and you had to shake it, and you also had to tell the car a secret. Like, that is the kind of thing that that I dream about anyway. But in the dream, I was like, of course, this is normal, but it's a lot for me to learn, and it's really hard for me to handle. And so it was really stressful. Like, those are the kinds of dreams that I have. Like, I had a dream once that I was driving my car in a winter storm, and my windshield wipers weren't working, and the snow was building up on my windshield. And so finally I pulled over to see why my windshield wipers weren't working, and my windshield wipers were actually 2 pairs of eyeglasses. And I was like, oh, well, that's why they're not working. Like, of course they're not going to work. In my dream, I wasn't like, what happened to my windshield wipers? Why are they eyeglasses? I was like, of course eyeglasses aren't going to wipe snow off my windshield. Like, and that's the kind of weirdness that takes place in this book, which I was here for. I loved it. It was so funny, and I love that the weirdness made a lot, like, I like that the weirdness made sense to the people in the story. Like, none of the people were like, this is a weird thing, why is this happening? They're like, gotta do the annoying thing that's a thing in my town. So I ended up absolutely loving this book. It took me a little bit to warm up to it, but once I did, I was really glad that I gave it a chance. Just like that new guy at work, apparently. Who's not, he doesn't exist. This is just an example. I ended up loving the characters and their relationships. And just the stuff that happened. Like, there were some things that happened that were preventing the main characters from being able to accomplish what they were trying to accomplish, that were happening in a way that would only happen in a dream. Like, in any regular book, the stuff wouldn't happen. You'd be like, Kate. But in this, you're like, no, I want them to be able to do the thing, but the weird things are happening and they're not letting them. It was really good. I loved just sitting down and getting lost in this world, in this town with these characters and going on their adventures with them. Like, libraries are like horror settings in Night Vale. You want to go to a library? I mean, good luck. You're probably gonna die. And they go to the library. it was good. So anyway, if you're into weirdness, or if you are intrigued by the weirdness and you want to see if you would like it, I definitely recommend checking it out. If you don't like it, I mean, I feel like that's allowed. But I feel like you should give it a try, because it was a lot of fun. And apparently there's 2 more books. I think there's 2 more books. I would definitely like to check them out. And I'm excited to check out the podcast when I'm caught up on Office Ladies, which I also recommend. So I guess that's all. Have a great day. Bye.